Hey everyone, welcome to Fit Chicks Chat. I'm Amanda Quinn.
And I'm Laura Jackson.
And on today's podcast, we are talking business because it is Thursday. And what we are talking about is why why we believe everyone in business should hire a coach. So, guys, you might not know this about us, but when we started our business back in September of 2008, when we started Fit Chicks, we were just like trying to figure it all out on our own. So it was Laura and I, we were just kind of like, bumping through the road, like going left and right, just trying to figure it all out. Kind of a lot of times not really having like a solid plan, having things come up that we didn't really know how to navigate through. And these kinds of things cost us a lot of money, a lot of time, a lot of energy. They were great lessons that we've learned, but it was something that, set us back in some ways. So, at one point we finally realized we were like, you know what? It's the two of us and we're doing a really good job of building and scaling our business, but we feel like we could do so much more. How do we do this? And we kind of felt stuck, kind of felt like we didn't really know which direction to go. And at that point, that's when we actually decided to hire our first business coaches. And these two ladies were amazing. They, Amy and Danielle, if you're listening, we love you. But they were phenomenal coaches that really helped us kind of navigate. Like at that point, we were actually going through sort of a transition in our business. We weren't really sure which direction we were going to go in terms of expansion, in terms of like new programming, et cetera. And at the same time, we were also in the process of applying for Dragon's Den and setting up our whole like pitch, as well as like developing what our model was going to look like for that and everything else. And so we had a lot on our plate that was like brand new to us, and having them there to support us and help us kind of navigate through and asking us the right questions they were really able to help us kind of figure out what that road and that like map out where we actually really wanted to go, and to see and understand that we knew that at that point, like working with them kind of identified to us that like in-person programming wasn't really necessarily what we wanted to continue to expand on anymore, and that we really did want to start focusing our business on online strategies. And so the reason I'm sharing this with you guys is that, you may be listening right now and you might be like, okay, cool. Like I'm a trainer, or I have my own group fitness program, or I have my own business, or I have my own gym or whatever. But you might also be having that feeling of like, I have so many opportunities out there that I want to take advantage of, but I don't know which one is right. I don't know which direction to go. I don't know like how to even get to point B. Like I'm at point A and I don't really know what to do. And I'm telling you guys, like if you've ever sat there and you thought, maybe I need a coach, or maybe I need a mentor, or maybe I need someone else to help me, like if you have thought about it, you definitely need it. If you haven't thought about it, I'd say you probably still need one. Because what a coach is going to do is they're going to help you to basically do what you already do, but that much better. They're going to help you elevate your business.
Yeah, like I want to jump in there, like, because I think that
Totally.
especially in fitness, like, and this is going back to even you and I when we first started in 2008. So we already had, both Amanda and I have a background in business. So Amanda worked in sales for the Toronto International Film Festival, and I was working in international marketing for Hilton Hotels. So we did have an understanding in terms of like how to sell and how to brand and how to market. And another thing, guys, you got to remember back then too, the marketing was so different. Like everything that we did was like, there was not all, like, other than having up a website, you couldn't really do much online. Then Google Ads started coming out and all this stuff. But other than that, it was like hanging up posters, handing out flyers, working at events,
old school,
right? And that also, I mean, it takes a lot longer to grow than it does now. So, but when we first started, one of the things, and I think this is with a lot of fitness and nutrition pros, is that, of course, when you're starting a business, you model it after someone else. So you see maybe it's Lucy's gym down the street, and you start to follow kind of what they're doing within yourself, right? You're like, okay, they run a promotion. You start to kind of notice what they're doing, and they have these types of packages. And that's perfect, guys. Like that's called market research. That's something that even though you might not even, you're just like, well, I'm a trainer. I want to do this. Oh, wait, Lucy's gym does this. Maybe I'm going to try this. As long as you're not copying their stuff, like word for word, or saying that you are part of them, That's called market research. And you should be doing that over multiple different gyms or businesses that are similar to yours to see what competitors are doing, what you could offer, different promotions, give you different ideas. But that is where, like, that will get you only so far. Like Amanda said, that is the stuff that it's like, it's great that this will get you to a certain place, but then you'll be like, well, now what? And you can like essentially recreate what all these other businesses are doing, but to next level. And whether that be financial, whether that be that you want to go online, whether that be that you yourself just needs to, you're not happy with what you're doing. Like, we know so many people who have literally fired all of their clients. They're like, yeah, I was a personal trainer. I actually hated personal training. I was exhausted. I was like going, you know what I mean? Like driving to clients for $50 an hour, 8 hours a day. I was physically
all day, every day. Yeah.
Fired all their clients and opened an online program. So you can pivot at any single time that you want. But one of the biggest challenges is that most of the time you don't know how to do it. Or you can figure out how to do it, but it's going to take you a long time of research. It's going to, like, and Amanda and I used to be like this before we hired business coaches. Like, we had our first coach, which they, like Amanda said, they were amazing for what we needed then. But our coaches now, and our coaches since then, we started hiring different people based on what we needed, not on, like, we weren't just like, okay, I need a business coach and then Google business coach and find one. It was like, do I need a business coach to help us figure out our online strategy? Do we need a business coach who's going to help us figure out how to run our team? Do we need a business coach who's going to, so there's so many different types of coaches out there, but if you're at a place where you feel like you are stuck, the fastest way to get out of that stuckness is to get an expert in the area that you need help with, not just in general. Because then it just becomes therapy. You can get a therapy or a life coach for that stuff. But that way you can fast track and you can get to where you want to go.
Exactly. No, exactly. And I think, you know, touching on like why we feel like, why we also feel that everyone needs a coach is like, if you're someone too who has your own business and you're a high achiever, like if you're someone who's really driven and you want to be really successful, you are never 100% satisfied. Like, I feel like that's kind of how it kind of identifies people that really could use a coach, because I think a coach is like what their role is, what a business coach, in my mind, what a business coach's role is to be able to basically like look at your entire business and look at your problem that you're having from like an oversight perspective. Like, they kind of look at everything. They look at it like the lay of the land, and then they help you determine what is your fastest steps or the necessary steps to be able to get you to the end result. And so if you are someone who is like this high achiever who wants to basically, if you want to be able to, you know, get to this end result really quickly and you have big goals, it's really important that you have someone to help you get there, because there's only so much that you can do on your own. If you are someone who is really like, if you have your gym, like you're like, okay, I have Lucy's gym and I have my 50 clients and I'm super happy, and it's just like, it's maintaining itself and they're all dedicated and they're going to maintain, and this is where I just want to stay, then that's cool. Like, if you're cool with that and you're cool with just maintaining the business that you have and you feel like you don't really care about growth or opportunity, then you can just kind of stay. But if you are someone who wants to achieve more, you want to continue to grow in platform, you do need to have a coach, or you need to have a coaching program, one or the other, because that's what's going to help you kind of see from a different perspective. Because, and especially if you're doing something online, guys, online business changes like on the daily, I want to say. Like, it's consistently, like, there are so many new innovations. There are so many new programs out there. There are so many new platforms to use to understand that if you can't learn everything, you can't know about everything, but a business coach, if you hire a coach specifically for like online business, so say you were doing, like, you're hiring someone, for example, to help you with your online business strategy, their job as a coach is to know what is the most current step, what is going to help you achieve those goals. Like, that's their role in this play. Like, if you're hiring them, that's what they're supposed to step in and help you understand. They're not going to answer every question for you, but they're going to help you understand maybe where there's holes in your business to help you get to the place where you need to be.
Well, yeah, like, and even going back to when you were saying about like Lucy's Gym, if you just are happy with your business right now and you don't want to grow, I still think you need a coach, because there's always ways you can make even what you're doing even better. And we never should just stay stagnant. We always should be striving to make things better for our clients and growing in different ways. So maybe it's just like, you just want to keep your one gym, or you want to keep your one thing, but how can you then save more money on your systems? Or could you upgrade your offerings? Or could you upsell your current clients to make more money? Or could you know what I mean? Like, there's so many different things when it comes to business. And I think that like been doing this for 10 years. And we obviously we've transitioned from having a very successful in-person business across Canada to going into having a very successful online business globally. We've seen every different corner of running a fitness business, like from scratch. And our students from the Fitness and Nutrition Expert program, we try to share a lot, and the Holistic Nutrition Weight Loss Expert, we try to share with them a lot of our real life stories, our struggles that we went through building our business, where we've wasted a ton of money and time, like things, because we know truly what it takes. And the one thing we always say is, if like you need to hire a coach, like you need someone who is going to help to navigate through these things, because you are not supposed to know everything. And if you spend your time trying to teach yourself everything, you're taking away from time where you could operate in your zone of genius in your business and have the most fun and make the most money and make the most impact, because you're trying to learn how to, use like a project management system, or how to market on Pinterest, or like whatever it is, where like that's not a good use of your time. And I mean, I know when you're first starting out, you have to, because you don't have the manpower and you don't have the funds to start to put things out there. But when people are like, should I put more money into like my marketing, or should I put it, I'm like, I would put it into first a business coach to get clear on what you want to do in the area that you need it, and then put the money into marketing. That's the two things I'd put my money into.
Now, Laura, what would you say for anyone listening that you think a business coach's role is in their business? Like, what do you feel like they should be looking for in a business coach?
Well, I know from like, in terms of
a business coaching program, because there's also the difference between, because there's business coaches and then there's business coaching programs, guys.
Yeah. So you could do either group coaching or one-on-one coaching.
Yeah.
I think that from people that we've hired and people that we have worked with, and vice versa too, because we also coach women, fitness professionals and nutrition professionals in how to build their businesses. We also have a coaching program called the Online Biz Builders Lab, where we help you create and launch your online program in 60 days. It's a group coaching program, and
which is coming out in January.
Yeah. But I think that whether it's somebody who's looking, like whether they want to hire us or we're looking to hire somebody else, because we always have coaches too, I think the first thing for sure is getting clear on where you need support. Like I said earlier, like where are you looking to grow in the online space? Because if you are, you're not going to go hire a coach who's an expert in team building.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Exactly. Like, so it's you've got to be really clear. And then secondly, I would find someone who you feel like you connect with. Because again, we've done a lot of coaching groups before, and especially in the business world. So we're not necessarily just part of fitness business coaching groups. We're like with, people who work in all different industries. But I found that it's a very male dominated, like in general, still there's usually 5 men to every woman, right? So a lot of these coaching groups were very male dominant, very egocentric, very showy, like talking about money and things like that. For us, that never resonated with us, because that's not what we are about or what we're going after, right? We're very heart-centered. So for us, we needed people like coaches who are more like, believe in the mindset and the spirituality and the whole idea. I needed a feminine energy. Like, so when we found our coaches now, it literally was like, I felt like I had gone home. Like, I was like, oh my God, these are my people. Like, it was very female friendly, like very female supportive, but not in a way that was like, we love women too, and we support, you know, women breaking glass ceilings kind of thing. It just was like the norm. It's just like a very mixed group. Women are just crushing it. The men are so respectful of women. They're crushing it too. Like, it's just a whole different energy. So I think you've got to find someone who you connect with and who speaks in a way like you don't feel like you're uncomfortable. You don't feel like you're like, it should feel like, it's like when you go on a date, you know what I mean? Like, there should be that natural connection. If you feel like you're forcing it, they're not for you.
Or if you feel like you're just trying to like live up to their expectations, or like almost like as if you see them as like above you and you're trying to like get their approval. You know what I mean? Like if you feel like you're kind of always trying to strive for their approval, almost like a parent or like someone in the past, like if you feel like that's how you see them, then I would definitely be cautious of that, because you'll constantly be almost like I don't know, like you'll be doing stuff like maybe that you don't even agree with, or you'll be doing things that maybe are not in the direction that you really want to be going just because they say so. So you want to make sure that you're comfortable being like having a conversation openly, being like, oh, like I disagree with that or whatever, and feeling like they're almost like your peer in a way.
Yeah. And like, even when we had our coaches, our first coaches, and they were really like, yes, we think you guys should do like expand your in-person programs, you know, like open it, like expand them into the US, expand them here. And we were like, yeah. And then you and I had a conversation and we're like, I don't feel excited about that. Like I physically don't feel that's what the direction that I want to go in. And like you're like, I don't either. And then we had this big conversation and we were comfortable enough to go back and be like, honestly, I know from like, you know, that would be the next logical step, but in our hearts, this is what we want to do. And they were like, you know what, that's what you truly want to do, then that's where we need to shift the focus, but it might take longer because you already have this great program that's already doing so well. So yeah, you've got to have that, like, because if not, you're going to be like, okay, yes. Okay, fine. Then we'll expand our in-person programs. And we would have been unhappy.
Well, it was like, even when we got the deal with the Dragon on Dragon's Den, that was like, so guys, just a short, like very long story short, when we went on Dragon's Den, we did get a deal with one of the dragons, Michael Weckerly. And, you know, when you get a deal on the show, you then have to do due diligence and everything else. And during the due diligence conversations, you know, one of the conversations was expanding to new locations on our in-person programming, as well as expanding to offer pre and postnatal programs and things like that. And it didn't feel right to us.
And they want us to train men.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Like, our whole brand is Fit Chicks. It's about women. And they're like, well, we think you should expand. And we're like, no.
But like, even in that scenario, it was like, you know, this is someone who is wanting to invest in our business. And this is somebody who we respect highly and is a big investor. But we had to be sure of ourselves enough to know and comfortable enough to say no. And we did so, you know, and that's not necessarily a coach, but it's the same sort of concept. Like you really have to be sure of where you want to go and feel comfortable being able to state that, regardless of who you're working with in like the coaching or otherwise.
Yeah. The third thing I think that I would 100% would say when looking for a coach. So the first is getting clear on what it is you need help with. Secondly, it's got to be someone you connect with. And like, you know, don't just jump at the first person, because you know what I mean? Like there's a lot out there. Go to their webinars, go see what they're about, what their style is. But the third thing is, because of this boom of the internet, you've got to work with somebody who's actually done it.
Yeah.
Like, who's actually gotten really great results in their own business, because right now there's this boom that's going on where everyone wants to be like a 6-figure coach and like a business coach, because there's no real, like anyone can just say they're a business coach or a life coach or whatever. So it's been this new thing that people are like, oh my God, yes, like I'll get you to $100,000 in 60 days, da 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 da. And they've never done it in their own business yet. They've never actually done it. They just have attended other people's things that have done it. So they're regurgitating information. So like even for us, like we've built and launched multi 6-figure launches, like online. We've created programs and launched, you know, multiple times, 5-figure launches, 6-figure launches. Our business has generated millions of dollars over the years. We've also gone through a lot of hardship, a lot of lessons, a lot of ups and downs, spent a lot of money. Like, so there's things for us, like I feel really confident helping someone create and launch an online program, because I feel like we've done it so many times and we've learned the lessons that now I could actually help someone get results in their own business. But make sure that you're doing your due diligence, and just because you find someone that, yes, they might like provide support in the area that you need help, and you connect with them, but they might have only been doing coaching for a month and they've generated $300 in their business and they're trying to help you get to $100,000 online, that's going to be, you know what I mean? Like, that's definitely a disconnect. So
yeah, it's definitely a bit of a red flag. So do your due diligence for sure. Do some research. Why do you think it is that this is like the hot topic now online? Because it's like, and I find it crazy how like in the past, I would say about the past 6 months, how much my social media is like, it's literally like every ad is for like a different, I mean, obviously they're targeted ads too, but like every ad that pops up is like a different coach selling different things, and like weird coaches of like pictures of them on yachts and stuff, and like come to my like high earner, high ticket, blah, blah, blah coaching, and be on your own yacht and all this weird stuff. And I'm like, whoa, so crazy. Like, why do you think is it just because it's like an industry that anybody can kind of jump into and say that they can do this?
I think there's low barriers to entry. I think the reality though is a lot of these people, I mean, there'll be a flash in the pan. It's like when we started boot camp, right? Like we were one of the first only legit boot camp companies. Like we actually had a whole program in place, you know, for 4 or 8 weeks. Like we took you through a whole program. We had a very specific speak, and you know what I mean? Our team, we would meet with our team all the time and coach them. And we had signature workouts. Like there were things, like we did everything very precise. And then boot camp, so all these trainers were like, wait a second, you can get a permit for a park and just teach a boot camp? So, you know, I paid $20 for a permit in a park, and now I have 20 people in the class paying $20 each for the class, and I'm making like $380 because I just have to pay the other 20 to rent the space. So now everyone wanted to teach boot camp. So suddenly all these little one-off boot camps started popping up, but